Red Cross has reported that 2 coffins have now been handed over to them in Gaza, and they're in the process of transporting and handing those 2 coffins to the IDF in Gaza, understood to be another 2 deceased hostages. They will then be brought to Israel and, I imagine, identified, or at least go through the process of identification overnight. If indeed they are identified as deceased hostages, that will bring the total number recovered so far to 12, with the remaining 16 still to be recovered and returned under the rules of this first phase of the ceasefire. But it's not a straightforward process. The International Red Cross has said it could take days, it could take weeks to recover the remaining deceased hostages. Some may never be found. And we understand an international team is now helping with the digging and recovery efforts in collapsed tunnels and under piles of rubble. But certainly it is proving to be a cast iron condition over whether the Rafah crossing, the only crossing between Gaza and Egypt, the only crossing that it doesn't border Israel, it's proving to be a cast iron condition over whether that will reopen. There's been a lot of uncertainty this week, a lot of uncertainty tonight after the Palestinian embassy in Egypt announced that it would reopen for individuals, not for aid, but for individuals to potentially be reunited with their families in Gaza. Well, that was swiftly contradicted by the Prime Minister's office in Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, saying that Rafah would not be reopened until all of the deceased hostages were returned. Israel is viewing that as a serious violation of this first phase of the ceasefire agreement. And in turn, Hamas is accusing Israel of violating the ceasefire with another deadly incident. 9 Palestinians said to have been killed in Gaza City just yesterday, travelling in their vehicle when it was hit by Israeli fire, something that Israel has defended, saying that the vehicle appeared suspicious. Either way, it is proving extremely complex, extremely messy, and still deadly. And something that could prove key in all of this is that Israeli media is reporting that the US Vice President J.D. Vance could be arriving in Israel on Monday with envoy Steve Witkoff. And I've spoken to UN officials here in Israel who are here and part of the organisation and planning for this second phase of the ceasefire, which involves Hamas potentially demilitarising and a new authority governing Gaza, something that still needs to be decided. I asked them what that looks like, and they said it's all still extremely unclear. So this potential visit on Monday by the US Vice President could prove absolutely critical, not just in this very tense, very fragile ceasefire holding, but critically also what happens next.